What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're taking a look at an oldie but goodie in the Cold Steel Mini Leatherneck. And this one sat in my Amazon wishlist for a couple years before I finally pulled the trigger. And I'm not sure why I waited so long, to be honest, because this is an ultra affordable knife at right around $20. I'll link to it in the description if you're interested in picking one up, but really low barrier to entry. Obviously you're getting some budget materials at that price point, but this is both a fun and functional knife in my opinion. Now the mini in that name, Mini Leatherneck, definitely implies that this is going to be a smaller than your standard leatherneck style knife, and it's pretty significantly smaller at about 6.75 inches overall. And so that kind of seems like a theme this week, is just odd sizes of different versions of knives. We had our giant slip joints on Monday and our Mini Leatherneck today, but not an intentional thing there. So of that 6.75 inches though, more than half of it is focused on the blade. So we still get a really usable 3.5 inch clip point style blade. Love the clip point on here. We have a pretty dramatic clip, which I really like to see in a clip point. We have a swedge leading into that clip, which gives it a little bit more of an aggressive appearance. Nice kind of flat grind on here leading into those flats. Our billboarding is on those flats. So on the show side, we have our Mini Leatherneck. If we flip to the back side, we have our Cold Steel branding, as well as China. So they make some knives in China, some in Taiwan. This is one that's made in China. And last but not least, our steel, which in this case is 8CR13 MOV. Ultra budget steel, but ultra budget knife. I have no problem with that. It's been just fine. And so with more than half of that length going to the blade, that does mean that we give up a little bit in the handle. So our handle length is only about 3.25 inches. For me, I'm still able to get all 4 fingers on there right behind that hand guard, which is great for keeping you from slipping up on that blade with such a small grip. Now it is a little bit tight. I'm cramped here. I'm not able to spread out, but I am still able to get 4 fingers. My pinky's wrapping around that pommel a little bit, so an extra 1/4 inch would have went a long way. That would put us at about 7 inches overall. I think would have made it even more comfortable, but this is actually a very comfortable handle for its size, I think. Now, in terms of the handles themselves, they call this material Kray-Ex, but it's basically just a rubberized handle. Ultra grippy, even if it gets wet, it's gonna be ultra grippy in gloves. So nice rubberized handle. I do like the flats here for your fingers. They're not even actually flats, they're like a concave groove here, but really nice landing spot for the pads of your fingers. Obviously this is a fixed blade, so same experience with the left hand, feels great either way. And yeah, nice handles. Underneath those handles, we do have a full tang leading up to our lanyard tube in the back. So if you're someone who likes lanyards, you do have the option of adding a lanyard there at the back, but pretty comfortable handles overall. Now, one thing I would love to see from this knife in the future, and I'm positive I'm probably not the first person who's mentioned this, is a more premium version, something with stacked leather handles and maybe 1095 steel or something like that. I would pay 50 or 60 bucks for something in the same size, or even up to about 7 inches, but just kind of more traditional styling there and just more premium materials overall. But this is still a really cool knife, great little user. In terms of the weight, it's not too heavy, it feels really good in hand. The blade itself is 3.3 ounces. Now adding in the sheath is pretty much exactly an ounce, so that brings us up to 4.3 ounces. The sheath itself is pretty nice, great retention. It's not coming out of there without putting some pressure with your thumb to pop it out of there, and no rattle or anything like that. So completely silent, even though this has been in and out of the sheath several times, it hasn't gotten looser or anything like that. Now, one downside is no mounting options out of the box, so it doesn't come with a clip or a belt loop or anything like that to mount it, but you do have your mounting points. So you can add your own, or you can put this through your shoelaces if you're using it for a boot knife, or add some 550 paracord, strap it to your bag. You do have those options, but out of the box, it does not have any sort of clip or belt loop. Now, that doesn't matter so much for me. I wear 511 pants most days of the week, and all of those have the mag pockets, and this drops nicely into the mag pocket. It's not bigger than it needs to be, not ultra bulky, only weighs about, again, 4.3 ounces with that sheath, so not bad whatsoever. I think this is a really cool knife at the price point. I feel like anyone who's into small fixed blades should have this one in their collection. It's just a cool knife. It's one that you can easily add to your Amazon cart the next time you make an order without feeling bad, and still getting your new knife day at $20. But let me know what you think of this one down in the comments. One thing I haven't mentioned yet though is that I went with the clip point because I think it's a classic for that leatherneck style knife, but they do have a Tonto version of this. They also have a double-edged dagger style blade if that's more your speed. So there's a couple options out there if you're not as into the clip point, but I think the clip point looks absolutely perfect on this one, and it just makes for such a fun little knife. But again, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member. All help the channel out a ton. And as always, I hope you have a great one. Take care.